So let's start with a biological reality today. Like when you look at someone who seems just effortlessly confident.
Right, the person who walks into a high-stakes meeting and just completely commands the room.
Exactly. Or, someone who takes a massive career risk without even blinking. It is incredibly tempting to assume their brain is just wired differently.
Oh, absolutely. The natural assumption is that they just don't feel fear.
But biologically speaking, that is actually impossible. When they step up to that podium or, launch that business, their brain's threat detection center is flooding their system with the exact same stress hormones as yours would.
Yeah, their heart rate spikes, the adrenaline surges. It's the exact same physiological response.
Right. So the difference between you and them isn't an absence of fear. It is a learned behavioral mechanism that kicks in during those milliseconds after the fear hits.
And that mechanism is what the source material we're examining today defines as confidence.
Which is why we're here. Welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is to unpack this incredibly insightful article titled Why Confidence Matters.
It's a great piece. It really strips away that mystical aura we usually assign to this trait.
It totally does. And our goal here isn't to just spout generic self-help cliches at you. We want to practically examine confidence as a foundational life skill.
Because it is. It's a tool that creates opportunities and literally changes every aspect of your life. It treats confidence not as magic or some genetic lottery ticket, but as a practical, observable mechanism.
Yeah, we often treat confidence as a personality quirk, like having blue eyes or just being naturally tall. You either have it or you don't.
Which is such a limiting belief. When we stop viewing it as an abstract wish and start viewing it as a functional practice, everything shifts. It moves from the realm of luck into the realm of strategy.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we discuss how confidence changes things, we have to agree on what it actually is.
Right, the definition is crucial here.
Usually in casual conversation, we say the opposite of confidence is insecurity or maybe shyness. But this text argues that the exact opposite of confidence is fear.
Yes, that shift from insecurity to fear changes the whole framework.
The author defines confidence simply as the belief in yourself and your ability to get things done. It's the internal dialogue that says, yes, I am a capable and competent person, and I can do anything I apply my mind to.
I love that because insecurity is vague, right? It's this abstract evaluation of your self-worth. But fear is an active inhibitor. It's a biological stop sign.
It literally just wants to keep you in your comfort zone where it's safe.
Exactly. So if fear is the stop sign, confidence is the mental override. It's the green light.
And there's this one specific line from the text that I thought was just brilliant. The author writes, confidence is the ability to have a go at something.
Uh-huh.
If confidence is just the ability to, have a go, doesn't that totally reframe it? I mean, it takes the pressure off needing to be perfect and just makes it about starting.
What's fascinating here is that framing it this way means confidence is fundamentally about removing mental blocks. It's not about knowing everything before you start. Think about how many projects are abandoned before they even begin because people think they need total mastery first.
Oh, totally. Like thousands of ideas just die in the planning phase.
Exactly. By defining confidence as the ability to have a go, it tells us that the person raising their hand in the lecture hall doesn't necessarily know more than you do. They've just removed the stop sign.
They just hit the override button.
Right. It's the absence of the fear that stops you from trying.
But if we just view this as an isolated override, like pushing through fear once to speak up, we sort of miss the larger architecture the author presents.
Yeah, the chain reaction.
Exactly. The text argues that developing this ability to have a go naturally triggers a chain reaction, and they introduce this idea of confidence as a keystone habit.
Right, which in behavioral psychology, a keystone habit is a foundational behavior that positively knocks into completely unrelated areas of your life.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The author uses this domino analogy, and we often exhaust ourselves trying to fix, like, every individual problem in our lives simultaneously, right?
Oh yeah, the classic New Year's resolution trap. You try to fix your diet, your career, and your sleep schedule all on the same day.
Exactly, and you just burn out. So if we view confidence as the first domino, does that mean we can solve multiple problems just by pushing that one piece over?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it absolutely does. It's
Okay.
not magic. It's about changing your underlying algorithm for handling friction.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, the text gives some great examples.
Yeah.
Let's say you push that confidence domino. That gives you the drive to tackle things standing in the way of your goals.
Like what?
For instance, it gives you the drive to learn a new skill, like coding, because you want a university degree. Or maybe you learn a new language because you want to move to a different country.
Right, so you're forcing yourself to have a go at learning Spanish or learning Python.
Exactly. And when you successfully navigate the friction of learning that new thing, despite your initial fear, you aren't just acquiring vocabulary or code.
You're building a track record.
Yes, your brain is recording a new data point about your own self-efficacy. You're generating empirical evidence that you can handle the unknown.
So then the next time you face a completely unrelated challenge, your brain references that success. It's like, hey, we survived learning Python. We can handle this new networking event.
Precisely. The domino effect is simply your brain applying that updated algorithm to new areas. Once those initial dominoes fall, the overall landscape of what is possible completely transforms.
Which leads right into the next big point. The text claims that high confidence opens up the world with possibilities. The author literally uses the phrase, the world will be your oyster.
It's a big claim, but it makes sense when avoidance behaviors no longer dictate your choices.
Yeah, and they list some really relatable examples. Getting the courage to talk in front of an audience, traveling the world, asking that person out on a date, or finally learning that musical instrument you've been dreaming of.
Things that were once terrifying are suddenly just manageable challenges.
But wait, I have to ask. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? If the world becomes your oyster, does it mean that the opening fear of starting something new completely disappears forever? Like, are you just immune to fear now?
No, and the text is wonderfully explicit about debunking that myth.
Yeah.
You will never stop that opening fear of starting something new.
So the fear is still sitting right there in the passenger seat.
It is always in the passenger seat. But confidence gives you the extraordinary power and the tools to excel and move ahead despite that initial fear.
Okay, so you still feel the uncertainty of the new city or the new relationship, but you don't let it grab the steering wheel.
Exactly. It's the difference between a solid brick wall that stops you completely and a hurdle that you just recognize you have to jump over.
That is such a vital distinction. But it also leads to a pretty sobering realization. If the initial fear never fully goes away, it stands to reason that confidence isn't a set-it-and-forget-it trait.
Oh, definitely not. It requires active maintenance.
Right, it's like a leaky bucket. You don't just achieve a state of high confidence one Tuesday and coast for the rest of your life. You have to keep topping it off because life constantly pokes holes in it.
Psychological entropy. Without active energy, your self-belief naturally decays because the environment constantly introduces friction.
And the author issues a direct warning about this. Having a high level of confidence is a continuous process because you will encounter challenges designed to negatively affect you.
This raises an important question, though. What kind of challenges specifically?
Well, the text details two major setbacks. Can you break those down for us?
Sure. The first major setback is encountering unpleasant people. The author specifically mentions coming across individuals who don't understand you and who behave unpleasantly toward you.
Like, you live a weird interaction at a party and immediately think, am I terrible at talking to people?
Exactly. These interactions can make you question your own people skills. The danger is letting a stranger's bad day rewrite your internal resume.
You misattribute the cause. You blame yourself instead of just realizing they were being difficult.
Right. And the second major setback is internal. It's looking at your past failures and tricking yourself into thinking you will always fail.
Overgeneralizing. Like, one project misses a deadline and suddenly you're a failure at your entire career.
Yes. But the author counters both of these with a very reassuring point. If you view confidence as a skill, you could overcome any of these situations.
Because if it's a skill, a past failure or a rude person isn't a permanent stain on your identity. It's just a temporary dip in form. You just practice the skill again.
Precisely. Which naturally leads us to ask, well, how do we actually build and practice it?
Knowing that it's a continuous skill we need to maintain, how do we actively do that? Well, the author actually provides a specific 5-step roadmap for this.
The blueprint.
Yeah, the blueprint. Now, we're not going to give away the whole farm today. This framework is definitely going to be the subject of future deep dives, but we need to introduce the progression because it's so powerful.
It creates a really elegant path out of paralysis.
They call it the 5 C's of confidence. And here they are, exactly as the text lays them out: clarity, commitment, consistency, competence, and finally, the result of confidence.
It's a fascinating sequence.
It really is. I mean, it's not just wake up and be confident. It actually ends with confidence. It's a formula.
Why do you think this specific sequence is so practical for the listener?
Because it keeps the pursuit of confidence grounded in practical action rather than exaggerated motivation.
Right, motivation is just an emotion. It fades.
Exactly. We're so often told to just hype ourselves up in the mirror until we feel confident. But this framework argues you can't have genuine confidence until you build competence.
So let's walk through it real quick. Clarity comes first. That's just defining exactly what the target is, stripping away the fog. And once you have clarity, you make a commitment. You decide to pursue the target, regardless of the fear.
Which forces you into consistency. You show up and do the work repeatedly, even when it's boring or hard.
And through that consistency, you build competence. You get measurably better at the task.
And once your brain has undeniable proof that you are competent, that you have the skills, then confidence naturally follows. It's inevitable.
It becomes an unavoidable byproduct of the first 4 steps. You're no longer waiting for a magical feeling. You're executing a process.
So to summarize all of this for you listening, confidence is not magic. It's not a genetic trait. It is simply the opposite of fear, the ability to have a go.
It's a keystone domino that opens up the world, from learning to code to traveling solo.
But it's also a continuous skill that you have to actively maintain against setbacks like unpleasant people and past failures. And you do that through a deliberate process.
Clarity, commitment, consistency, competence, and confidence.
Exactly. Just remember that a healthy level of confidence is an extraordinary power. It will completely change your life. And we really want to encourage you to intentionally build it every single day.
Because you are in control of it.
You absolutely are. So as we wrap up, I want to hand it over to the expert for one final provocative thought to leave you with based on those 5 C's.
Think about this. If true confidence is actually the final step, the ultimate result that comes only after clarity, commitment, consistency, and competence, what is one small area in your life right now where you can simply get clearer today, knowing that the confidence will eventually follow?